Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to be reviewing something that I didn't know was available separately until about 2.5 weeks ago. We are going to be talking about the very brand new Jazwares 1:1 scale Darth Vader helmet. Now the shipping box had in parentheses OBW, so I don't know if this is based off of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series or if it's based off of New Hope. This actually goes with their, I think it was called Prima Deluxe Darth Vader costume. They are selling the complete set for $1,000, but I hopped on HalloweenCostumes.com and I saw that they were offering just the helmet portion for, I think it came to me shipped for like $105. And for a Darth Vader helmet, 1:1 scale for $105, it's not too bad, considering the Black Series ones are, I think, in the price range of, I want to say like $120 still. I don't think they've ever come down in price there. But we're going to be opening this up, and then I have a couple more helmets that I'm going to be comparing it to. So I've already gone ahead and popped the seals loose on all the sides. Now I did actually get this like a week ago, but it was missing this tusk, I believe, upon opening the box. I looked in the shipper box, I looked in this box, nowhere to be found. So I reached out to them and they said, send it back, we'll send you a new one. And so it took about another week for this to arrive. And so I figured I'd do a review. And for distance wise, I know some of you guys are gonna ask how far away I am from the camera. I think I'm about like 6 feet, 5.5 feet away. So if that helps with photography and all that warping stuff that goes on with distortion when filming. So we're gonna pop this open. I'm still working on getting my new studio set up at the new place, so forgive me for doing this just in my kitchen. And the box itself is pretty big, as you can tell. It's got a picture of Darth Vader's helmet right there on the side, and then it just says Star Wars on the side. And then it says Adult Deluxe Helmet Costume Accessory. And this is from the company called Jazwares Costume Play. They also made the Halo helmet back in the day before the TV show came out. And that was very popular. I own one of those as well. So we're going to swing this over here. Pop this open. Now I'll give you my pros and cons on it that I like. I've already kind of overlooked it when or looked it over, I should say, when I had the first one, before I had to send it back. So here it is, out of the packaging. Kind of tip it up a little bit, so you can kind of get a good front view there. And there is a side view. There's a back view, and I'll also do some close-up footage too after the initial review. And the other view, and that is from the inside there, if you can see that. Some were already talking about swapping out the lenses. They are semi-see-through, I guess, from the front. So I think some guys are gonna swap those out. I saw one fella had already swapped out the grill. I believe that is removable. It looks like there's 6 screws that attach these mesh pieces in, or actually they're plastic, made to look like mesh, but it's just all black. So some were taking that out and replacing with actual mesh metal. It does have a 2-tone paint scheme, so you have gray here and black here. I don't know how well it's picked up on camera from this far away. Then you have gray here and then black here, so it's that two-tone paint scheme. Now, the one thing I don't like about it, I know some were talking about how wide this ridge is. That doesn't really bother me as much for right now, but I've never been a fan of how thin they make these domes. I think they should be a little thicker But it is what it is. It kind of reminds me of the Rubies Supreme with how it's in the helmet, and also with the Hasbro Black Series. Also had that thin edge on the dome there. Now the attachment system to separate the helmet from the mask is interesting. You actually have to, I think, twist it. You have to twist it one way. And then it separates. So on the inside, there are 3 pegs, and those line up with these 3 pegs on the front there, and then it just recesses down there, and then it twists. Now, I'm iffy on like the material that they used. It feels like if you don't get it right or twist it wrong, that the 3 white prongs on the top there may be prone to actually like snapping off if you're not careful. So really kind of pay attention when you're getting that lined up. You don't try to force it if it's not going, because you may risk snapping either that off or snapping part of this material off. Now, it is kind of thin for the helmet. I mean, it's not as thick as I would say the Black Series or the Rubies Supreme. It is all just one piece. For this, there's no separation like the Black Series had. But it does feature that round system like a lot of the higher end replicas feature, as opposed to the magnetic system that the Black Series used. The tusks are just rubber pieces. They're kind of flexible back and forth. I may swap them out for metal ones later on. I don't know. For right now, they're fine. That's the inside. It does come with a hard hat liner style system to be able to adjust it for your head size. I'd say probably get, I don't know, 25-inch head in there, I think. I'm about a 22-inch head, so I've had to crank this down quite a ways. You can also see the screws in there where the mesh parts would lock in. So that's that. Then again, just the dome. Dome is pretty big. It's relatively comparable to the Rubies Supreme dome. I think it's a little bit bigger than the Black Series dome. So I'm gonna snap this back together. Try to get these lined up. It's not as easy as it looks, because you really gotta make sure you got them lined up good in there. There we go. See, it makes me nervous when I hear that noise. I think it's snapping it. So we're gonna set this one here right now, and then we're gonna bring up first the Black Series helmet. Now this is the first run that they did of them, not the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that they released later with the 2-tone paint scheme and the bigger neck. This is from the original run that they did. So you can kind of see already just the difference in size. So that's front. Swing to the side there. One thing I do notice is just how much wider the Black Series one is compared to the Jazwares. It's got a more slimmer face like the Rubies Supreme one had. So then you got the back there, and then you got the back for that one. Let's see which order I want to do this. I'm going to slide this one over, and then we're going to compare it to the Ruby Supreme. Now this one I've modified a little bit. I ended up redoing the eyes. I never replaced the mouth grill. That's still the original one. And I also lowered the dome on this one. I had gone in and chopped off the big black portion that this one came with, and it allowed me to actually set the dome down a little bit lower, because I think the other one, when it was the way it was before, it did not look right. And I also, I believe, had used a heat gun for the neck area, and I kind of squished that in a little bit so it wasn't flared out so much. So we'll just do a front view. And then this is the first time I'm seeing them actually next to each other. And they look, dome-wise, they look about the same. I mean, the ridge on this one is almost even wider than what it is on the Jazwares one. It's a little more, I think, symmetrical. It kind of, maybe when I spin it around you can tell too, but just the way that dome flares out in the back, it looked kind of off. Like it's not exactly symmetrical. So that is the back. This is again Rubies and then Jazwares. Mine does have like a production mold spot on the top where they injected the plastic. I think that just kind of happens on all of them. Yeah, I've got it there, then I've got it there. It's just how they make these domes when they produce these helmets. So swing this one here, swing that one there. And now these one actually had the metal tusk. They're not accurate by any means, but they were made of metal when they did the Rubies Supreme. So that is side view there, front view, and then back. Now someone did ask, what does the Rubies Supreme dome look like on the Jazwares? So if I can get this off real quick, I'm going to try to attempt, actually let's do it this way. I used a bolt system for this to keep it in place. Okay, so we'll set that there. All right, so now we've got the dome. If you can see at the front, I've actually cut away most of where that attachment system was on the Rubies. So we'll see if it even lines up. I don't know. It's all an experiment. Yeah, see, that noise. It feels like I'm gonna snap all those pegs off. They just don't feel like they're strong enough to do repetitive movements like that. So I'm probably not gonna take the dome off of this one very often. All right, so let's see. I don't even know if it's gonna line up with how it is. Maybe. All right, so that is with the dome from the Rubies on the Jazwares one. Now it may sit differently if you have the original dome. Since I've modified mine, it may not be sitting how it would if it had not been modified. And that's from that side. It doesn't stay in place, of course, because it doesn't have the same attachment system. Now this one originally used to have a patch of Velcro right there that helped keep this one on, but I guess I will show. Side by side. That one's that one. Pop that on. And then side by side there with the Black Series. I do like that they went more detailed, of course, because it's the reveal style helmet. It would have been cool if they maybe had added some of this stuff to this one, but would have upped the price point, I'm sure. So they kept it simple. As far as thickness, the Rubies is a little thicker. It's a little more beefier, I'd say, than what this is. It's got it feels thinner, and I can't really tell weight-wise. This one feels a tad bit heavier. You can see those right there. What else can I say about it? I mean, for the price point, it's not bad. It really isn't bad at all. I'm just kind of looking at the nose. This one, and I'm trying to give you as much information as possible so I can be as informative for you as I can. This one always featured the metal nose insert, whereas that one is just painted on. And same for this one, but they did not make it all the way. Well, maybe they did. Is it all the way silver? It is all the way silver, and it's just an added piece that they put in for the Black Series one. So that's all three of them together. Let's forward this one. in there. This was, I have not done this comparison yet. If you have the Black Series dome, this is what it would look like with the Jazwares, which I don't think that really looks good at all. that looks kind of funky. Yeah, definitely doesn't sit on it for one, but then it just looks weird from the top, for sure. So, but I'm sure I'd get somebody that would ask, can you try the Black Series with the Jazwares? So there you go. Now the dome material feels about the same as what the Ruby Supreme feels like material-wise. I mean, it does have a little give to it, but plastic-wise for this piece, they went with a more, I'd say, fragile plastic. Yeah, I'm sure if you drop this, I mean, you could actually probably crack some of this like right off if you weren't careful. So handle these with care, and don't drop them. So we'll go ahead and pop these back on for one last shot, and I'll do some just like up close footage so you guys can see. Now this is definitely not a helmet. I don't think that you can get the dome on while you're wearing the helmet, because you have to line it up almost this way, unless you get real good at it. It's so hard to get these lined up. There we go. There. Yeah, so I don't know how well you'd be able to get that dome on with if you're cosplaying with this. So there we go. Black Series, Jazwares, and Rubies Supreme slightly modified. So alright, I hope that review helped you. Again, these are available on HalloweenCostumes.com. I believe Amazon was selling them. They may be doing a Prime Deal Day today and tomorrow. But for the price point, you really can't beat it. It's definitely, it's got potential to be modified, I'm sure, like several people have already been doing. Yeah, that's about all I can say. I think I've showed you everything that you'd want to see. So hopefully it helps, and enjoy.